Yo, yo, yo. Yeah, so Swarms is basically the first framework ever that allows you to have multiple systems like ChatGPT. Now, actually, you can have hundreds, maybe thousands of them for any given. So we basically allow you to do that. We allow you to have like ChatGPT, Anthropic, or thousands of specialized ChatGPTs, like finance or accounting, basically allow you to make but as of now, it's mostly I see. So what you can do here is you can create a team of agents that help you basically so you find all these cookies, then you find the names, and you use all this data. Okay. You can help you. So
Where are you guys from?
I grew up in Miami.
Oh, okay, so you're local. Because I met some guys from Colombia, some from Germany.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we're from Miami.
That is
So
so cool.
yeah, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show
So
you
this
how.
is like a homemade, like Miami 305 product.
I mean, yeah, basically, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So here is if you look at this, this is how you basically build an agent. So here at the top you see
Oh,
the
our
name.
tax deduction agent. Huh.
Yeah, so you can basically just super customizable. And you essentially customize this, and then you run this basically with one line. So you say run this, and then these agents are then going to work together. And so here you're going to find the swarm. And so the swarm is basically like I'll show you now.
Oh, that's what it's called, the swarm.
Yeah.
You
So
guys are the ones that are speaking at 6:30, or?
yeah, that's us.
Oh,
So if you go here in our documentation, you will see how the swarms work. So swarm basically means how do the AIs communicate with each other. And so this is we're trying to simulate how humans would communicate, right? So we have different types of swarms, and so a parallel swarm would be like you sending an email out all to all the vendors, construction companies, lane companies, like all your teams saying we're starting this right now, and we're starting development. And then another swarm would be the hierarchical swarm. And so this swarm is like it's essentially like creating a mini company. And so the root agent is a boss. Is a boss agent, and then this boss agent can give tasks to worker agents, and then those worker agents will have sub worker agents. And so basically, with this swarm,
company structure.
yeah, literally, you could replicate an entire company, and you could have your own swarm of people finding developers, construction companies, finding lands, and then orchestrating them all together. You could even have a swarm find all of them and even message them or call them to get quotes. Yeah, So you can get quotes and things like that, and you could call every construction company in Miami. Are you going to be working within Miami?
Um, Ideally, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
all the lands that I'm working on, well, I mean, that's like Fort Lauderdale, but South Florida, let's say.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'll give you a demonstration of how to do it. But basically, you don't even need to design the swarm because you can have an AI like Claude creates the agents for you, so you don't specialize them. Because you have prompt. Are you familiar with prompt engineering?
I mean, like I know the concept, and I can prompt engineer ChatGPT to do stuff every now and again.
Yeah.
It's not on a temperamental day.
Yeah, so I'll show you what that looks like. So this is Claude, basically like a better ChatGPT by a company called Anthropic. And here we could say,
Oh,
let's.
someone was telling me, do you know Burhan Sibidi?
What was that?
Burhan Sibidi runs Venture Miami.
Yes.
So he was telling me that Claude is way better than ChatGPT.
Yeah. So what would you say for real estate development
Yeah,
in South Miami,
South Florida.
South Florida? We need an agent specialized in construction vendors.
In construction, let's say in construction, we need one in finance,
One in finance, and
one
then
in architecture.
one in architecture laws, right? Because you need laws like architectural laws.
Well, no, just say architecture, and then we'll say one in zoning,
One in zoning.
um, one in marketing, because what's the building if you don't have the marketing? I don't know, like these are the
Yeah.
ones that come off the top of my head. Let's see what it does.
So let's say, so here we're going to say, we don't need to do all the prompt engineering for all these AIs. We can say, create the prompts, the system, create the prompts for all of these agents and customize them. And so basically now what's going to happen is we're going to have Claude generate the agents that we want. So here we're going to say South Florida, construction vendor agents, your highly specialized agents focused on construction vendors in South Florida's real estate development industry. Your task is to provide expert advice in selecting, managing, and optimizing relationships with construction vendors. And your knowledge should cover local materials, material suppliers. And hey, how's it going? You want to join in? Yeah. Quality control.
We're changing the skyline here.
Yeah. So basically, it gives you all these different agents, and then we could say we need the full file. So we say return the full file. That's one YAML. So by this, we can essentially have Claude design the entire
What's a
prompt.
YAML?
What was that?
What's YAML stand for?
That's a file system. It's a type of like file. So this is like basically like a file, a specialized file format, like CSV, you know. So it's basically like that, but it's a little bit more readable and more customizable. And we're going to be using that here we're going to be using that here to essentially like help us customize it. So we have it here now. Now we can basically just like copy and paste this. So we can now we have the swarm architecture, if you will, and then we could we do this. We're just gonna block out all these tasks, and then we're just gonna put that one, and then we're gonna create a file called run YAML, and then we're gonna take some code that we already had. Let's see. So this system that you're looking at is how we run. Basically like where you run code. We are making a no-code platform for this, so you don't even have to do any of this stuff. But yeah, so here we're going to change the name of the file. This is called agents.yaml, and then we're going to run it. So we're going to run that. Actually, I need a Grok key. 1 second. Grok API key. So for this, we need to get the keys from the platform.
Can you explain Grok? What is it?
It's basically like a model provider.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's like OpenAI basically, but they're super fast. So we take that and then we put our workspace directory. And then so now we already have this. We have the model. All 5 agents are going to be using this model. And then we're going to run this. So we just press one button and then we're going to see what happens. So here in this YAML, we can specify what task you want to say. So we could even, do you have a task in mind?
Can it tell me zoning changes?
Yeah. So here you give it the main task that you want to talk with it. So here we say develop a, like here you give it the main task that you want it to do. So if you wanted to say zoning, you want to say like the latest zoning laws or how exactly?
No, I wanted to show me, for example, in the city of Miami, is there a specific area where we're expecting a zoning change, but it hasn't happened yet? Like, can we get in there early?
In the city of Miami,
Yeah.
is there
A zoning change that is expected to happen but has not yet, and we can invest there early on, early stage.
I see. We can invest in early. Okay, now let's see. So we just made the change. This is the code that runs the file. And then let's see if everything goes according to plan. So here we're going to get all the outputs here. And then let's see. Okay. Oh, it works. Yeah, look at that. So those are all the outputs from all the different agents that we just made. And if we scroll up a little bit, we'll see. Yeah. Okay. So let's see which is which. So this is the real estate finance agent. So okay.
Okay, let's look at the town's overlay. Constantly local potentially we started.
Coconut Groves, West Grove area.
Okay, so in definitions
Affordable housing developments, mixed use, Little Havana Sky Ocho corridor.
Okay, so
The more
can it tell
specific.
me, like, for example, if I give it an address, can it tell me the highest and best use of what to build there?
Say it again.
If I were to give it an address, can it tell me the best thing to build there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just type it in.
So with these agents, they all answer that task in some way.
So you can customize the swarm. There's different types of swarms depending on the communication your business problem needs. So if you customize the swarm, you can make it sequential. So one agent gives outputs to the next agent. So you can say like, I do my work, and you do that same. Or you can put concurrent means they're all running at the same time.
It's just like local agency in a sense, like answering that prompt.
Yeah. The task is the main entry point, but the system prompts basically dictate the specialization of the agent.
Yeah, you're kind of priming.
Yeah.
Priming the.
But as you saw, Grok is extremely fast.
Yeah.
Grok is the fastest, one of the fastest model providers.
So
So
I put it in, and I'm seeing out loud.
yeah. So we're gonna just clear this, and then we're gonna say we could change the swarm architecture here. So we can say sequential workflow, and let's see if that works. So sequential means I do my work, give it to you, then you do it to him, and then like it's like a step by step. So we can try that. Let's see what happens. We're just gonna run this again. This is the Python code. This is Python that runs the YAML file. Okay, so it created the agents you saw. Okay, yeah. So there's a problem. Let's see if we can fix it really quick. So this is how you download swarms. Pip install swarms. That's how you like basically download packages in Python. And so Python is the most popular programming language in the world. Popular. It is the simplest. It's basically like English. Yeah. So okay, this swarm is not working. We have to get that fixed. But we can go back to our previous architecture, which is the current. Okay, so we're going to clear this, and then we're going to see our responses. So these are all the agents running, and then we have all of the responses. Okay, let's see. I can't really considering. Okay, this is the real estate architecture agent. Let's see. This is the marketing agents.
They all have different ideas.
Yeah. Hold on. I'll make a quick change. So there's something interesting that's happening. It's outputting JSON. So we say auto save false. So the output is too long basically. Return string. I'm just changing some of the settings here. True. Okay. Because right now we can't see the outputs. It's too long. So I'm trying to change that. So we're going to run it again, and then we're going to see what happens. Okay. So as you see, like it's going to just keep. So we have 5 agents that were all created here, and then okay. So
Wow. So we're talking about tax incentives.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's fine. Okay. Okay, so this should be. It gives it there, but it's blocking it off. Let's see. Let's see if we can get luxury. Within walking distance, is that true? Okay. All right, that's good. Recommended land use. Considering the site's location, zoning regulations, and market trends, I recommend a mixed use of development that incorporates a combination of residential, retail, and office spaces. Capture growing demand for urban living and walkability, providing a diverse range of revenue streams, enhance the surrounding neighborhoods with a vibrant and dynamic development. A development proposal. Mixed-use condominium with retail and office space, 15-story building with approximately 50 to 75 condominium units, each ranging from 800 to 1,200 square feet. Ground floor, 5,000 to 7,000 square feet with outdoor seating areas, taking advantage of the Andrews Avenue frontage. Is that true? Okay, yeah. Mezzanine levels. Office space is 5,000 to 7,000 square feet, catering to creative professionals, entrepreneurs, and small businesses. Residential units, offering a mix of 1 to 3 bedrooms. So option number 2, it gives you multiple options. So you can just make a luxury residential tower with integrated office and residential.
But now it's starting to make stuff up. Like to go up to 20 stories, you need a zoning change. You need something. Like you need another layer.
Yeah.
This was within the current zoning. Now it's getting creative, but it's not telling me how it's getting creative.
Yeah. So you can, if you say that in the prompts, if you say what do you now want, it will not make those changes. So you have prompting is very important because if you're not specific, the outputs will basically be too big to be useful. So yeah,
Does it also like do the visual?
a visual.
Yeah.
You could actually, yeah. I mean, so you could say like what would you want a visual of?
For example, the first project that it gave us for the 12 to 15 stories, let's tell it to make a mock-up of that.
Of the actual building?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, okay, it is a little bit possible, but we wouldn't be able to. We would need to do something special. So say, add another agent
Yeah.
that is specialized for creating imagery of
Building
the
rendering.
rendering. This will be galley or steel. So we can't directly, we don't have the functionality to make an image yet,
Okay.
but we can have it create the prompts so that you can copy and paste it in Dolly 3 or Stable Diffusion or Midjourney. Do you know these platforms?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can take a
I
design.
don't know stable, but I know Sally and
So we can have an agent that outputs the prompt for the property, and then Dolly can make an image of it. And that can be like, yeah, so there it is. So here we can say, copy that, and then go here, and then just add it. Make sure that's good. And just comment that out because we already have the name task here. And then let's see what happens. I want to make this a much better like viewing experience for you. So let's see. So this is the router that we're using. So this you basically say what type of swarm you want. And okay, so we can use the spreadsheet swarm. That would be easier for you to see. You could see all the outputs of the agents in the spreadsheet. So we just change that. We run that. And hopefully now it'll output a CSV file of all the outputs from every agent. So
no. I'm running events, like AI events and everything. There's a lot of. Where are you? Are you coming? Are you here?
yeah. So I made it.
Welcome. So you're not available on Saturday?
Yeah. So now you can see like the actual outputs of all the agents, but we had the loops set to 5, so it was running 5 times. So it runs on a loop. So and
But that's just a bonus to fine tune it.
oh no, it wasn't the same. So if you put it to 5 times, the agent will just running in on the same prompt 5 times. As if they didn't see it before. But we put it to 1, and now hopefully it'll be much cleaner. You see it was much faster. Yeah. So let's see.
Okay. We'll take you out to dinner. Okay. No, we'll come pick you up. We'll pick you up. Okay. Likewise. Bye-bye.
Yeah. So here we have the imagery agent. So we can say this is the one that we had. So we could take this. Then we can go to. You can use. Actually, $3.
Also fascinating.
Yeah. I'm trying to see where Dolly 3
You
is.
guys were born into technology. I was not, so I'm more fascinated by it all.
That's okay. It's here, and anybody can learn it. We have a community of almost 9,000 people, and I've seen people learn AI from nothing. They learn AI in basically like a month. They learn how to program and everything.
Where
So
did they learn this?
in our Discord, we have like say, say make an image of this. So make and so pretty soon um, you'll be able to have like the image generation models in the files, so that you say I want stable diffuse and Dolly, and then it'll basically generate an image for you. But now it's kind of a more manual process.
I made an image for this week. I'm curious to see what it didn't count right, but it's shorter. It's a 12 to 15.
Yeah,
But I love the greenery it added. This is
yeah.
spectacular.
So say make it 15 floors. Combination of office, residential.
You make it realistic instead of like drawing. Does it give you?
Yeah. Yeah, so prompting image generation models is, hey, how's it going? Hey, nice to see you. Welcome. Yeah, we're demonstrating swarms of AIs that can work together as a team. Yeah. So, I don't know if that's 15 stories, but
No, but the two things that AI has difficulty with is counting and spelling.
yeah. So this is the latest one that it made? I think it is. Yeah. So the thing is, image generation
You have
models.
to like keep working with it.
We could have,
But
so
this is more just really kind of thing.
we could try another model called Flux Dev Hugging Face.
What is that?
So this is another image generation model that's free, and we go here, and then so that we just put the prompts, and we put that there, and then it'll take some time, but this one is also free. And hey, how's it going?
How's it going?
Good, good. Nice to have you. We're showcasing a swarm of agents that can essentially help you automate real estate development. So we just had she's a real estate developer, and we're having basically a bunch of LLMs work with each other to basically discuss like all the zoning, architecture, and everything related to the actual real estate development. So yeah, so that's. So this is diffusion. This is what diffusion models generate, and they basically take an image and it makes it very easy, and then they remove the noise. And at some point, you get something beautiful like that. So you just saw a diffusion model like Dolly 3 working in real time. They made this. So the prompt there was a little bit interesting, but yeah. Basically, here, this is the spreadsheet. So this is another type of swarm that we have. All of these rows are different agents. So this is a construction vendor. The construction vendor says, this is basically giving us a strategy here. This is residential component, develop a mid to high-rise residential building with 150 to 200 units.
It's like actual contractors. I love it.
Yeah, Moss and Associates, Sulfa Construction, Turner Construction Company, subcontractors, electrical, FPL. Yeah, I can send you this if you want.
You know why I'm taking a photo? Because I just finished a program, and in that program, our construction process teachers the GC attorney. These guys are all existing clients. So I'm going
Really?
to look at like AI is recommending those clients to. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Like, right?
Yeah. So yeah, basically.
I don't know Turner, but or mostly
Where is this address?
it's in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, it's in Fort Lauderdale. Can I look this up?
This, the background is not realistic. That's not Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
It's made it up, but I mean it's still pretty awesome.
Is this it?
Yeah,
So that's the land, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so what we can do in the future to make this better is we can give the AIs access to tools. And then those tools will be able to actually get the images of what it looks like now. And then it would be able to generate actually like photorealistic photos and renders of the building with the actual background surrounding it. And so, yeah.
So how do we start using Swarm?
We're actually, so we're making a no-code platform right now, so anybody can use it. That you essentially don't need to know how to program or anything. You just basically you prompt engineer the agents, and then that's it. You basically give them the prompts, and then you can set the swarm that you want. And so, oh wow, so many people here. Yeah. So okay. Well, hello everyone. I'm Kai. Nice to have you. So yeah, so basically Swarms is the first ever framework that allows you to have multiple LLMs work with each other. Because when you use ChatGPT and other LLMs like Gemini or Anthropic, you're only using one of them at a time. And that's very fun and all if you're solving a very valuable business problem. But if you wanted to have these AIs do many things at a time and essentially do them as a team and automate them as a team, you would use our framework. And so we have a couple of swarms here. A swarm basically is when you have multiple AIs or even multiple humans, how do they communicate? For example, right now, this is a concurrent swarm. I'm sending one task, I'm communicating with all of you at the same time. And so that would be this swarm. And so the swarms are basically like communication patterns with these AIs. So here, one task is being sent to multiple different agents. They could be LLMs, or in this case, it's humans. But the communication is really what we enable you to do. And so by doing this, by having a swarm, you can essentially lower hallucination of base LLMs. Because if you use models like ChatGPT, it's always going to hallucinate. Always. If you use it for more than hallucinate, it'll basically generate information that is not real. And if you give it data for accounting or finance, it'll especially hallucinate. And so having multi-agent collaboration or having multiple AIs work with each other, you can actually lower that by a lot because the AIs can critique each other. And by that, you can lower the hallucination because no matter how big ChatGPT is, it hasn't seen every piece of information that has ever existed. And so that's the problem you're going to get. Another problem is when you use a model like ChatGPT, you're only doing one thing at a time. You cannot do 50 things at once. You cannot do 100 things at once. It's basically you're only really stuck to doing one thing at a time. Whereas with the swarm, you could do many things at a time. You could do, here, we're doing two things at once. And this is a hierarchical swarm. And so this is a pretty popular one because most gatherings of human beings are hierarchical. Because in companies, we have CEOs, we have vice presidents, we have managers. Even in countries, we have presidents, we have treasuries. It's basically you have different forms of and layers of responsibility. And you can simulate that with LLMs and AIs. And so if you could do that, then you could basically automate away all the different layers of responsibility and planning that a human would normally do. And so that's a pretty popular one. That's actually might be our most popular. And then another pretty simple one is called the parallel swarm. And so parallel basically means doing many things at once. So in this case, we're sending one task to many agents all at once. With her example, we were sending this task to multiple agents. Here it's 6 or 7 agents. And here we said the address, what would be the best use of this land, and how do we maximize our investment? And so this swarm here, this is how you define a swarm. You basically give it a name, you give it a prompt, and the prompt is especially it's essentially what specializes the LLM. And so when you use ChatGPT, it's not really specialized for anything. And that's why you probably have gotten some pretty vague answers. And so if you specialize it, if you tell it how to think, the answers will be most times more accurate, and they will hallucinate less. And so here we're saying, for this agent, this is a vendor agent. So she's a developer. She wants to find potential construction companies to help her with her project. And here we say, you are a highly specialized agent that does X, Y, and Z. And then you can say that these are your instructions. You only do this, or you do not do this. If the more specific that you are with your prompts, the better the outputs will always be. And so if you specialize them, make them really good, it'll be much better. And so we have a couple of more agents. We have a finance agent for real estate. And we have an architecture agent. We have a marketing agent as well that essentially thinks in different types of real estate marketing strategies. And then here, if you see, we have a couple of more settings. So Swarms is extremely customizable. We have different loops. So if you see the loops basically means when it's talking to itself. And so basically, yeah, it's like how humans think. Because when we think, we don't just do something one time. We take our thoughts and then we basically like keep going. We build on our previous thoughts. And so you can do that as well with the agents here. So if you put 2 loops, it'll basically run one time, and then the next time it'll feed the input into its prompt, and then it'll keep going. And so we have some other settings. We could save it. We have a dashboard, dynamic temperature. So temperature, for those who don't know, is a setting of whether, essentially how creative its outputs is going to be. And so it's almost always from 0 to 2. 2 is super creative to the point that it's basically hallucinating reality. Doesn't make any sense. The closer it is to 0, the more statistical, quantitative, and logical it's going to be thinking.
So in this case, you're saying we want 0, else we don't want the temperature to be just too fast.
Yeah. Yeah. So here, the username as well. We could put the username here is our company. So we could put in Swarms Corporation, or what's your company's name? Makos. You put Makos. And if we put the loops here to 1, it will essentially, we go to here. Let's see. If we change this to 1, change all occurrences. We put that to 1, it'll only run once. And if we put this to true, it'll basically be random. And so if it's random, basically there's like a possibility of a healthy mix between like creativity and logistical, logical thinking. And so we have a couple of more settings there. It's really customizable. But here's where all the magic happens. So you basically define the name of the swarm. So this is your real estate development team. And then you can have multiple swarms. So if you wanted to have like 50 of these like teams, you could basically do that. You yourself, you could have like 20,000 AIs like checking construction vendors, like checking prices for construction. You can even have the agents call your vendors and be like,
This is all open source.
This is all free. Yeah.
So I'm gonna have an AI working for me, calling vendors all day long, saying, hey, what's the cost of concrete?
Yeah, so Swarms, if you look up Swarms GitHub, basically all of it's free. The thing is though, it is in Python, so you have to know, you have to know a little, basically you have to know a little bit on how to program, but we are developing a no-code interface now so that you don't have to do that. You basically just have to prompt the agents, or actually you don't even have to do that either, because we'll have a feature here where you can say, I want a real estate development swarm, and then it'll build the agents for you. So you don't even need to prompt. You just tell them what you want, and that's it. So so this is our no-code UI. If you want, you can sign up to it. It's called demo.swarms.world. and it's a like a super experimental version.
Do you have any use case that you can show us?
Yeah, I was actually. Hey, how's it going? Nice to see you. This is one of our new advisors here, Tal. He spoke at the last Venture Cafe event, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely amazing.
Tonight too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Friday for you.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah, it's 7. So,
Yeah.
come to listen to that.
Yeah. So right before everybody.
If you try to do this yourself, any issues, do you guys offer like a consulting service where you can contact you and say, like, I'm having some issues here about this, and you can help us, like, we pay you to help us, like, code it better?
Yeah, absolutely. Does anybody have any applications they like to see? We built her demo in less than maybe 5 minutes. So it's pretty customizable. And the way we do that is we essentially, so prompting is very difficult. So prompting ourselves is almost always going to take a lot of time. So what we can do to solve that problem is we can have the AI's prompts create the file, the configuration file, so that it can build all the agents for us. We don't need to prompt engineer because that's a waste of time anyways. So if anybody has some applications, we just did real estate development.
Do you do like HR stuff, like recruiting and stuff?
HR stuff?
Yeah, because I'm an executive, like, head for artificial intelligence and machine learning. I'm always looking for new clients, new business, right? So
Create another. Okay. What type of agents would you want on your team?
we have the agent that I need. Have you people looking for, or you said the marketing team, the architecture?
Yeah. How would you want this HR team to be structured?
Will there be the salesperson looking for new clients, looking for new like businesses that are looking for artificial intelligence engineers, and then you'd have marketing.
The marketing people?
Team, like it'd be a marketing team, so
Yeah.
or some marketing person.
So it's a salesperson and a marketing team.
There's a salesperson that's looking for new businesses. Like, for example, like a company that is an AI company is looking for AI engineers, right? So that person, they want to bring them on as a client. And then somebody who is like a sourcer, somebody who can go out and find the candidates.
And that's my group.
So, and then the sorcerer is going to be
Sourcing like AI focused candidates.
will source AI focused engineers?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So this is like an HR firm. Or like
I have a recruiting firm.
Okay.
A retained recruiting firm that focuses on the AI and machine learning. So when companies need somebody like that, they contact me, and then I go out and find them. But if this can help me find those people, then it'd be extremely helpful.
Are you looking for their like LinkedIn's? Would you want their LinkedIn's?
Yeah, that could
Okay.
be excellent. I mean, I can do searching on LinkedIn. That's the main way I get new candidates. Or places like this, I meet new individuals, engineers or machine learning engineers. And then, but mostly it's through LinkedIn, but there's other ways in which this can, focus this toward looking for new opportunities to find, like artificial intelligence engineers. Then I have to prompt that. Kirk, I wouldn't even know how to prompt that.
Yeah.
It's quite specific.
Yeah. So to do that at a really reliable level, you
Yeah.
could do that. You could definitely do that with swarms. The thing is, it would require us to build a custom tool to fetch people from LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And so here, let's see what we have here. We're just gonna make some
Already
quick
got it.
changes. We're gonna take that out. Okay, so we have a couple of agents. We have an AI recruitment HR agents, which says you're a specialized HR agent for a recruiting firm that focuses on AI engineers and marketing professionals. Your task includes developing and implementing HR policies and procedures, managing employee relations and conflict resolution, overseeing performance and management and professional development programs. So with this, it wouldn't be able to directly fetch the the AI engineers that you want,
Yeah.
but it would be able to like create like what is the process that the SOP for finding AI
that
engineers.
makes sense. Or even that person, that HR person, could be somebody I could contact.
Yeah. So we're just going to change some of these settings here. We have a list of settings to control the agents, and then we're going to run it on the task that you just gave us. So we're going to go here. We're going to say we need to make this 1. So this is the max loops. We're going to change that to 1. And then we're going to change this swarm. We have different swarm types to the spreadsheet swarm, the one that we're using in the other one. So we're going to run this now. We created our new swarm, and let's see what happens. If you see a bunch of greens coming up, that's all the agents we just built in like 5 seconds. So it's basically running, and so that's the spreadsheet just made. So what you can do here, we know that it works. We tested it to see if it works, and then now. So here you have the main task. So you could say, develop a comprehensive strategy to position the recruitment firm as the go-to source for AI engineering and marketing talent, including HR, sales, sourcing, and management aspects. If you don't want, you just want AI engineering, you can just delete that. I think it misunderstood what I was saying. So we could say like create standard operating procedures to source and maintain a list of candidates and who they could be matched with. Because recruiting is very interesting because you have an AI engineer and then you have to essentially map them to their most likely preferred workplace. And so it's like a mapping problem.
Yeah, that's generally what I get on the phone with them, talk to them first, and I see what they're looking for, if anything. Sometimes when I contact people, they're not looking, but after I speak to them about a position, it piques their interest, and I can get more information from them about it. My job as a headhunter is to really not just find somebody say, I have a job for you. It's like, hey, that's what I have. This is an opportunity. It's great. What about you? Are you looking for anything? And then find out what they're all about, what they're looking for, why they're happy there. But sometimes after I got the phone, they started to think, wait, there's opportunities I can go to. And then I have a second call to get more information about the company, to get more information from them about.
I had a question on this.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. So one of the things I heard was that the biggest problem with AI is AI can't label and it can't count. Those are the 2 initial challenges. And there are a lot of people trying to solve that with tokens and things like that. But then, other than that, I believe there is nothing more than interrogating a large language model, which eventually is just a communication tool to the deep learning model. So my question is that what is your opinion as an AI engineer about all these challenges of finding out about AI in its infancy? But otherwise, everybody makes AI look really sexy. When you put it to work, it doesn't solve a problem.
So the last thing you said, I agree. It doesn't solve the problem you're trying to solve if you don't specialize the AIs for that problem.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah,
Take care. Bye-bye.
yeah. If you like, as you just saw here, all of these agents are specialized for one specific problem.
Yeah,
If
particular
you,
swarms.
yeah, if you do not know how to prompt engineer, I mean, you're just using ChatGPT. Like ChatGPT is not specialized for accounting for real estate developers.
Right.
It doesn't know. It doesn't like you have to specialize them. And if you could specialize them, then it's much easier to get outputs that are actually quality and reliable. Yeah. So when you use ChatGPT, like it doesn't have a system prompt for AI recruitment and HR.
Right.
Like it's too vague. And so if you give it a special instruction, it'll be much more reliable. And so that's my first response. And the second response to the mathematical issue, I think AIs are much better at math than humans. Like it could create theorems and algorithms that we couldn't even like comprehend.
Right.
Especially like the new ChatGPT O1 preview, I've been having it like create like complex theorems, economic theorems, even like new AI theorems autonomously. So I basically asked it like, how do you create better AI models autonomously? And so I created an algorithm for the algorithm that generates AI models autonomously. So it actually, I would say that some models, maybe Claude's really good at math, and maybe GPT-4 O1 preview are really, really good at like actual math. But yeah, I just think if someone says AI is bad at something, they're probably just bad at prompting. And that's probably the issue. Because the AIs can do anything. I've had them do literally everything that you could probably do.
Yeah, I mean,
And
everything
they're
that
all
you can
pretty good.
conceptualize, but
Yeah.
not what you, because in the old days, we did everything like an expert system, because there was structured data, now there's unstructured data, and now what you're trying to do is trying to figure out how to use unstructured data with all of this variability. Yeah, I understand, thank you.
Question about it. What's the difference? By the way, we met like super briefly like a couple of weeks ago at NDC.
Yeah, how's it going?
Good. What's the difference between max loops and retries?
So so the
I have a couple
retry,
questions.
yeah. So the max loops here, when you see a loop, so an agent, this essentially boils down to what is an agent. So what I believe an agent is some form of intelligence that can loop with itself. It can talk with itself and basically know when it's finished a task. So if we say max loops is 1 here, it's basically just gonna, we give it something, it does something, and then that's it. If we set that to 100, it'll run once. You know, like we use ChatGPT, it runs once. You basically it'll run once, and then that's it. But if you set to 2, it'll run once, and then feed that as the input to its next query. And so that way, it's like an actual agent. It'll keep going until it can actually finish the task. Because some tasks might require more or less loops. For example, O1 GPT-4 O1 preview, if you see the thinking mechanism, it basically like thinks, then feeds that input to the next thought, and then it's like step by step basically.
And retries?
So retries is if there is an error, any error, just try it again twice.
Okay, gotcha.
And so retry tense is if there is an error, just run it again twice.
And just curious, then the temperature, how come you decided to make it a Boolean instead of a percentage?
I didn't. That was Claude that did that. So I've run a couple of workshops in the past few weeks where instead of doing manual prompt engineering, which is really hard for most people, prompt engineering is really hard, even for me. And I prompt every day. But if you can automate prompt engineering, then you can save yourself a lot of time. And it's much easier. So I basically have Claude make this configuration file for me so I don't have to prompt. Because if I was going to build this one agent, it probably would have taken me 30 minutes to an hour, probably even more than that. So
Gotcha.
it basically just decided on its own that it should be true.
But true, it goes to what, to 100% temperature?
No, dynamic temperature is random. So you can set any value from 0 to 1. And so for those who don't know, temperature is essentially a measure of how creative the LLM is. 1 or even 2 in some cases for some models, super creative, super creative to the point that like it'll just say a bunch of random stuff that isn't true. But dynamic, that basically means it's anywhere from 0 to 1. It can be random. Basically.
What if it's false?
It'll just be
0.5?
0.4 or something. You can set the default.
Another question is, I didn't see where you select the LLM that you're working with, or all these agents that you had using the same LLM.
Yeah, so we're gonna add that feature. So pretty soon you'll be able to put in the configuration. You'll be able to do something like let's see here. You'll be able to do something like LLM. You go here, and then you go like provider, OpenAI, and then you say like the model name. But so for that requires a router for the model, which we don't have yet, because it's a little bit hard to engineer. So here in these examples that we've been doing, we're using Grok. And so Grok is basically like a new type of chip that makes AIs run really, really fast. Like 100 times faster than just normal GPT-4. because they're using special chips. And so we're running the Llama 3 model right there.
I think my Grok, like with a K.
Grok.
Elon Musk's.
Oh, no. You don't have
Is it called Grok?
I think so, yeah.
But
So many Groks.
Yeah.
They don't have an API yet, so we wouldn't be able to use them. But so Elon Musk is very smart. He decided to make their humongous model. It's one of the biggest models ever built to be free and open source. So anybody can run it. So if you had a big, massive data center, you could actually run that. But I have a Mac, so unfortunately.
And you said Grok is any type of chip, so you're using cloud computing?
Yeah, so this is just basically sending an API request to this server that Grok is running. So we're not actually hosting the models on my computer. Yeah, so with a simple MacBook, if you have a MacBook or any laptop, you could have around 100,000 agents running on your own computer if those LLMs are in different servers. So a little MacBook like this could handle like hundreds of teams, marketing team, product teams, like any type of swarm really. You could put them all on your computer. So the thing is, yeah.
So one question for you, when you talk about the connection to automation, right?
Yeah.
Using APIs to automate, is Google Workplace still the best way to empower the agent to actually take action with emails and calls and other things? Or are there other platforms that you think are also great for plugging into actual behavior and action behind the agents?
Yeah, I agree. So the first thing is, so if you use Google Workspace, like you use Google Calendar, I think you should definitely like connect that with your agents. What I think is good is using Zapier. So we have a Zapier tool that basically like you give it your Zapier login, and then you can connect with any tool that your Zapier account is connected with.
Right.
Because otherwise, if you did do that, you have to create the tool from scratch, which would be like really hard.
So Zapier is really what you prefer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, you have the AI say, "Oh, I want to create a new calendar this time," and yeah, basically it's super simple. And it can use every app. It can use any Google app. It can use Gmail, Calendar, you know. So yeah.
How many people are you thinking?
A 10. Yeah, but we're going pretty quick. So we're looking to hire more agent engineers, people that can help us. Like, how can we build agents better and faster, and make them run much faster? So,
And, are you one of the co-founders?
yeah. Yep. I started building forms a year, almost actually now more than 2 years in Doral. So I was in Doral at the time. I had a little office. And then we grew pretty quickly. We decided to make this an actual company in March. And since March, we've had now over 1.3 something million downloads, and it's growing pretty quick. So it's undoubtedly like one of the easiest agent frameworks you could use. And with the no-code interface, I love the no-code interface so much. It's super experimental now, and there's some issues, but in the near future, it'll be ready to use, basically. And you won't have to do any of this programming stuff if you don't necessarily want to.
This is your email, right?
Kai@swarms.world. That is my email. Yeah. I also have my website. If any of you would like to talk with me, it's called kaigomez.com. I have my phone number, my email, anything really. So, yep.
I have a question about the max loops.
Yep.
Would that be like an example of like articulating in the context of the problem, right? But is there a way you were talking about like if the training continues to take a model from the upstream? Is there a way that you can like kind of build a model, learning from the user's request? Like build a model learning from the user's request and liquid training. Is that a little bit?
Liquid training. So like training in real time.
Yeah.
So you could do this. You would have to use. So you can do that, but you'd have to integrate it. Where is it? You'd have to integrate it here. So in the model, you could switch this out. You can use any model from any framework. but you would have to swap this out. So you'd have to, are you talking about the new liquid models that Liquid AI made?
I think it's talking about like liquid learning, continuous, uploading data, learning from the experience.
Hi, everyone.
So if you wanted to use the liquid foundation model, you definitely could, because the agents basically build, like you can build an agent, but an agent can use any model. So if you swap in the model, here we're using Grok. If I swap this to the liquid model, you have to build a model and train it first. Swarm operates on the level of it's already trained. So we take pre-trained models, we don't do any training ourselves, and then we just plug them up together. And that's essentially like, if you wanted to like use your own model, there's these people called Liquid AI that have built this liquid model that you just spoke to me about. And this model is not like ChatGPT where it doesn't learn in real time. This model learns in real time, and that's never been done before. Because ChatGPT doesn't learn in real time. It just
So it's a
basically,
liquid model.
it's like water, yeah. So here we can say like, how do we optimize this? And so this model is super fast, much faster than like a regular GPT-4 or
Why is
Anthropic.
it faster? Is it in terms of RAG or?
No, it's because of the way the model is built. So this is not using transformer models. This is using something much faster.
Yeah.
So SSMs are called, or RNNs. RNNs, SSMs are much faster than transformers because SSMs, RNNs, recurrent neural networks.
Oh, okay.
So these models are faster than transformers because they don't have an expensive mathematical operation called attention. Attention is super computationally expensive, and that's why models like GPT-4 take so much time to run and so much energy. Whereas one of these could probably run on your own computer. You can probably run like the full model, not the API, on your own MacBook, where you could not do that with GPT-4.
So with Liquid, you can just create your large language model or narrow language model and then run it on your computer and connect it to the Swarms framework.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you can have that running on.
You need to show me that one.
Yeah. So I don't know if these people have an API yet, but yeah, we have a whole repository called Swarm Models of models that you can integrate with Swarms, and so we're starting to increase this. We have Gemini, we have Claude, we have some other people as well. And so we'll be continuously like expanding on the models that we have. But you could connect your own model as well. If you had your own liquid model that was trained, or even use theirs, if they had an API, we could just connect it very easily.
And what is how do you see the future of the Swarms?
How do I see the future of the swarm? So I'll actually show you now. So this is super experimental. Do not tell anybody. I'm kidding. Tell everyone.
Just ask.
Let's see here.
A premiere.
So this here is the latest in our research. We basically, so what I just showed you is one swarm. Let me make this bigger. So what I just showed you was one swarm. What we've been doing this whole time, that was one swarm. But this allows you to have multiple swarms that all work with each other. And so it's equivalent to having multiple teams interact with each other. For example.
And how many AI agents do you have in average per swarm?
So these are swarms. And then those swarms can have different numbers of agents. So within one of these swarms, we have 10 agents. We have 10 agents. And then this one, we have like 10 agents.
Okay.
But with the swarm rearrange, with this, now we can use multiple swarms, not just one swarm. And so with this, we can connect like the marketing division, sales division, programming division.
Yeah,
We can essentially automate an entire company end to end with this. And so this is an example of Blackstone. We're working with Blackstone to essentially like fully automate mergers and acquisitions. So we created this simple
so
like
that hasn't been coded, right?
No, nobody has done that, to my knowledge. So with this, hopefully, the idea is with this we could hopefully start automating entire companies end to end, like marketing, programming, just the whole thing. And so we run this basically like this is the flow. So you put an arrow sign here, and with this arrow sign, it says like this swarm is going to run first, and then it's going to send its output to this swarm, and then this swarm. And if you put a comma sign, that means run 2 swarms at once. So what we could do is here, we take the first one, right? This is the first one. We're going to copy that, and then we're going to say comma sign, and then we're going to paste that. And so now this swarm is going to talk to that swarm. It's going to send its outputs to this one. Then that swarm is going to send its output to this one. And then both of these, actually, it's going to send its outputs to both of these. And then both of those will run. Let's try running that, see if it's good. And so this would require a little bit more analysis to see if all the outputs are reliable, because there are 20, 30, 40, 50 agents running. And in the near future, yeah, looks, oh, okay. Yeah, there's an error. Duplicate swarm names in the flow are not allowed. But yeah, so this is essentially the future. Having multiple swarms work together, because that's how companies work. You don't just work with the marketing division. Marketing division works with the product division, and then they work with the accounting divisions. And yeah, so multi-swarm orchestration is like probably the end of AI research. That's like the end of AI's evolution, because when you have 1,000 agents communicating, then you get another, you replicate that 1,000. And then you can have any number of thousands of agents working together. And so
now the question is, when do you think that we're gonna see or we're gonna reach AGI with this?
I already think we have AGI. I mean,
not really.
GPT-4 can do anything.
I think it's gonna be before 26, but we are not there yet. No. But the last months, everything
Come to the
is so
7 o'clock
fast.
session, she's gonna ask me a question, I'll answer.
Is it accurate to say that in a composable sense, like each LLM is kind of like a neuron?
Yeah.
So it's
essentially
I know, but we're
You're starting
So,
yeah.
That's like a super brain.
Yeah. So we have another repository where we're doing research like this. And essentially having transformers as the neurons and basic neural networks. So it's still the agent based. But it's not like swarms. This swarm is like actually uses but the others really can't.
What are some like options? I guess. I mean, when I'm actually working on the AI research at FIU, I'm doing like research for space machines.
It's also
Or some like points of friction
I just
because
taught
transformers seem to be drawn.
AI class.
Yeah, okay, so transformers, so as a
I do it
sense,
for
are like the two big architectures
This
for now.
is,
GPT-4 is a transformer, and then there's the up and coming, which is Mamba. Mamba is
Is it like a
our oldest
It's FIU.
Yeah.
The international.
It will always consume less energy. Because transformers waste a lot of energy with intention. And so they'll always be
I
faster.
mean, I'm
they'll always
doing
be
research
more
at like the research center, basically like
And then transformers,
yeah. So
might
we have
always
like
be
a better
better.
AI center out there.
So that is
And we have like
the
different departments of like computer vision, we have
how do you
LP, we
extend
have
the
malware, we
reasoning
have lots of stuff.
of the actual
And yeah,
model.
I just started like 2 weeks ago,
as a sense,
and
might not be
I'm very tired
equivalent
after today's session, so I
with
came here
transformers
to
and
talk about it.
reasoning, yes.
So yeah, I'm with
But
guy.
those are like the three
He
dimensions.
was the one that made me love AI basically.
So,
We met, and
yeah,
I didn't know
if we
anything. I
think
didn't
Mamba's
even write a single
sounds
code.
like,
And then just by looking at him,
it might just be
I'm like,
better
okay,
than
damn, that's interesting. So I just started doing it myself basically. So
yeah, those are like three big categories.
So I think you presented
And
on
it's
AI
also
software.
sound that's like
Yeah, it's a lot less time.
memory.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
You guys had this.
yeah. I couldn't, I couldn't come last time, and I think
before that to kind of propose
I
them.
mean, no, I saw you were
Together, because
in
not
the
that
ACI
recently.
presentation and so on, I guess.
So something very interesting.
I was there, yes, but just like quite the
I think, I mean, yeah, well,
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people just come up, I see them for the first time, and like, I see you every single day at the university, like, I've never seen you before. So I guess it's a plus, I guess, it's a
This
plus.
context window can be much bigger than transformers because transformer models are very inefficient. They waste unbelievable amounts of energy. So,
And they might be able to like deal with the problem. Is there a space here? Whereas
Where's the big room,
like,
you know,
working on
you
problems
sign in?
previously based on their previous experience.
Oh.
Just came in from that door.
yeah.
Oh, okay, so there's like a sign up desk right there?
Yes.
Where you get this?
I agree. So
And
Liquid AI people.
Yeah, it's a big room, in front of the lights.
So Liquid AI.
In front of the lights.
I guess we'll.
So these models learn in real time, whereas transformers cannot learn in real time. I don't know if that. I would love to have their API if they had an API for this, but yeah, they're not actually learning in real time, so they can actually be zero shot much better, just as you mentioned. So yeah. All right. Well, this little workshop has concluded now. We've actually 8 minutes. Thanks. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah. So Tal is you're gonna be speaking, right?
I'm supposed to be speaking like right now.
All right. Yeah.
So that's what we were just talking about, you know, they need to turn the lights on in the room.
Oh yeah.
That's like a sign to go there, right?
You're right, yes.
I'll just put.
Yeah, in 2 minutes, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean like.
Not that we are late.
Well, we're just gonna do an interview, the two of us, but we'll be talking about AGI and the future of AI.
Future of AI.
Swarms.
So, which will include swarms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta sign up. I didn't sign up. What's up, by the way?
Let's go under.
Yeah.
So are you gonna stay here?
I'm probably
I feel like I said Senate.
Hey, nice to see you. How's it going?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I've been working on with all stuff in AI.
Anyway, I never introduced, this is my boyfriend.
Hey, this is Sue. How are you? How's it going?
Okay, now we're gonna.
All right.
So, for the last 23 years with natural language processing, machine learning, the old stuff. And so we are in the healthcare field. So I will contact you because we have some very interesting challenges.
Watch
That in healthcare that we need to solve, which will translate into much better healthcare for everybody worldwide.
I love healthcare. We have developed vision models, yeah, models that can understand X-rays, MRIs, basically like any type of visual data, and they can give like diagnosis reports that are almost as good as humans, if not better. Especially better if there's multiple AIs working together. So if you only have one AI and it's already as good as one human being, you have multiple AIs, it can be as good as a whole team of humans.
So what we are looking at doing now is basically intercepting laboratory results, medications, and diagnosis to generate care plans with best outcomes by proven empirically best outcomes, and just be able to distribute that to the day-to-day practicing physician, because there is a lag of about 14 years for anybody to get the knowledge that they need to really do state-of-the-art medicine. So it's a big, and I'm working with governments around the world, and so we don't have very large budgets to do it. So.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Would you like to get lunch? Are you available on Monday?
Let me see on Monday. Where are you based? In
Doral.
Doral?
Yeah.
Let me see. Monday. Can I text you
Yeah.
to confirm?
You have my number?
Okay. Give it to me. So.
76. Actually, you could scan that.
Okay,
Go.
that's good. I'll do that.
Hey,
Hi,
nice to see you.
you, yes, you got me yesterday.
I may be in Tampa on Monday, so.
Oh, nice.
The project that I'm working with, working at, I take data from.
Be in touch.
Send me text and
Tomorrow.
Oh, good. Well, thank you for being here. Hope you learned something.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I'm not a developer, software developer. I just running business. So the project that I'm working with my developers is I connect with APIs to some data system like an HRIS, human resource information system, or another type of system, and then I take all the data to a data lake, and then AWS, we are using AWS. Yeah.
Having Thursday. Talk for a while.
Of course. So they can do some predictions. So, for example, the turnover of the company. And if they found something that are going to be out of the boundaries of the normal, they send a message to another, by now to a human or to another smart.
Hey Kai, can you hear me?
Hey, what's up?
What's up? What's up? How you doing? I saw the little, I saw what's going on. What's up?
I'm giving a presentation. Actually, I'll show you too. So the YAML, I don't know if you saw the configuration file.
Mm-hmm.
So we take this configuration file, we give that to Dropik, and then now we say, so the configuration file is basically defines your agents.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we give the file to the agents, and then
Right.
like this is the file that's basically like all the agent settings. Then now
I can't hear you.
we take
Go on,
this.
tell me.
We take this file and then we say, okay, now specialize these agents in data analysis, right?
Okay.
What type of data is this?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Data around, I want to analyze turnover, so the hirings and the
In turnovers. and hiring, what data is this stored in? A SQL or like what is the data format?
A SQL here.
Okay. The data is in SQL, and the goal is to, what is the goal?
To predict the turnover of the company and set alerts if the the top talent in the company are having a turnover
Hey,
higher than the normal.
I never saw in my life. So many people was there. You see? He had
I can never look at the photos.
Yeah.
yeah, isn't that amazing?
No, you tell me. It's amazing.
Yeah. So basically here we're having, he gave me some use case, and I'm not going to build these agents myself because that would be a waste of time. So I'm having Claude build the agents that he wants, just by giving it a description. So I'm saying, specialize these agents in data analysis and turnovers.
Can I take a picture of it?
Yeah. And so now we have these agents that are specialized. Oh, something happened.
No Wi-Fi.
Yeah, something like that. Let's see.
Your computer's dying as well.
No good. Oh, it should be good. There was an error, but basically, like we're gonna have these agents specialize autonomously so that we don't have to build the agents ourselves, because that'd be a waste of time. Prompting is almost always a waste of time. It takes too long, and you can't create a prompt and specific instructions in something if you've never done that thing before. Like, I don't know anything about real estate development, so how am I going to create a prompt for an agent that does real estate development? I just can't. It's not going to be good. So by having AIs build the prompts, you can effectively mitigate this whole mess. And just
And that's when you do this thing that go to ChatGPT and then Gemini and cross the prompt each other, no?
Yeah.
You build the prompt that way. You say,
Yeah.
Gemini, create me a prompt for ChatGPT. And then
Yeah.
ChatGPT, a prompt for Gemini.
There you go. Yeah.
And you develop a perfect prompt and then you ask. But then, okay, I have finally the prompt. This is the prompt I want. No, this is the prompt. Okay. Who do the work?
Who did the work?
Yeah. No, not the prompt. Okay, I asked ChatGPT. And then I need to take that prompt to action.
Uh-huh.
Who take to action? If that prompt tell me to do an A/B testing in Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
how can I do it? How can I take this prompt to Instagram?
Oh, Instagram. Oh, so you want it to output
whatever.
Okay.
Instagram, LinkedIn.
This is fire.
Oh, this is okay. So you want the agents to output in Instagram, right?
Yes.
So for that, you would need to create a tool for the agents.
Yes.
So you would need to create a tool. I keep making a mistake. So for that, you would need to give the agents a tool, but you couldn't do that in ChatGPT's platform. You would have to do that in code. So doing that on no code would be hard because you have to call their API. You have to call Instagram's API, and they're very concerned with people using their API because now we can post 50,000 propaganda Instagram, like beautiful women.
You did that?
I mean, I've done that. Other people have done that.
Not me, but a friend of mine.
I'm kidding. Yeah. So basically, yeah.
Okay.
What he wants is kind of the same thing. He wants the agents to talk with the database. So for that, the agents can't do that naturally. We have to give them a tool. And so the tool would have to be custom built. You would have to give it your access, authorization, and then the agents would then communicate with your actual database.
Okay.
But as of now, there's no connection, there's no tool.
Yeah.
So we only have the agents, but we need now the actual tool for the database that you want.
Okay.
But give me some example.
Excuse me.
Yes.
For this use case, how did you build the agent? I just saw that you put 2 lines. Is there any code that you use to
Well, I had Claude build the swarm for me. So
Yeah.
I say, now specialize these agents in data analysis and
Okay,
essentially
you
what
have
you
it.
told me. So earlier in the beginning of my workshop, I was showing people how they could automate the design of agents by having other agents build those agents, which is what we're looking at right here.
Okay.
So I basically just copied this configuration file that has all the settings for the swarm. That's what an agent looks like. It just name, prompt, some others, autosave like features. And then, yeah, that's basically it. We then go here, and then now we could run this.
Okay, got it.
So to mimic this, what we could say is, if we wanted to test this in production, we could say, so we have a task here, right? So we say, so this task, we could say, develop a SQL schema to detect in our AWS data lake. Hope is going to turn over and what was the word? And turn. Okay, now we have the. Oh, yeah. So now we have the swarm. This is the swarm name. It's a predictive HR analytics. It does this, and this is the type of swarm that we're using. And so the spreadsheet swarm, when we run this, is going to output all of the responses in SQL. So we say here, and now this is the file to run the HR agents. We have to make a new file, so we say, we change the name of the file, HR agents, and then we run this file, and then we'll have our responses. Actually, let me clean this up. So we're going to say clear, and then we're going to run it again. And then now, hopefully, you'll see a bunch of agents working with each other. So that's what it looks like when the agents are starting up. And then now we have our SQL query. So you could do that. So if we scroll up, these are just a bunch of responses. So it basically here created an entire score, risk score, associated with someone leaving the company.
Yeah.
So you see there, begin, declare, that's SQL. So what he's trying to do, he's trying to query a database to see if someone is going to leave the company, according to some equation.
Okay.
And so that is the code that he made to generate a report. And then we have another agent, top talent alert agent, that says to detect potential turnover and churn in our organization, we will create a SQL schema in our AWS data lake using Amazon Redshift. Is that the one they're using? That might be it.
No clue, but I'm going to ask if it is Redshift.
Yeah, so the way that you would actually make this production grade is you would first give the agents access to the database so that they can query the database. They can't change the database, so it's secure. And then you give them the schema of the data table so they understand how to query the database. And then they can query the database. And that way you can have this running 24/7 if you want.
Okay.
And it would actually be useful.
And then 2 more questions. One of them is, do I have to train a model around that, or
No.
he is autonomous?
You can use pre-trained models.
Okay.
So you can use open source models. You can use OpenAI models. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to train any models for this.
Okay.
Pre-train, if a pre-train training your own model costs unbelievable amounts of money.
Yeah, for no reason, because you're not gonna get on the level of OpenAI with your money. Like you will need to pour millions of dollars with millions of engineers and a big data center that has the GDP of a small European country. That's not possible. You know? So it's better to use something on the internet that costs $20 a month.
Yeah.
OpenAI. OpenAI.
Yeah. Basically, yes.
So training your models, you only train your own models if there's something so new and unexplored. Like if you wanted this AI to generate like chemical equations for a new rocket fuel or some crazy shit, you know, or like then you would have to train a model for that because ChatGPT doesn't know how to do this.
Okay.
So training, don't worry about training. Just worry for you. I must be worried about prompting. Prompting is like prompting. Yeah, prompting. If prompting doesn't go right, then you go into RAG. And then if RAG doesn't work, you go to fine tuning. And then if fine tuning doesn't work, then you get into training, pre-training. And that's kind of like the hierarchy.
Okay, let me take note of these three.
Yeah, so prompting, RAG, fine tuning, pre-training.
What is your
Pip install swarms.
Ah,
Pip install swarms.
Pip install swarms.
That's how you download swarms.
I'm not a developer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, so basically, yeah, so the way you download swarms is you go into your terminal.
You're wrong.
Oh, so yeah, you go pip3. And that's how you install swarms.
Is that in the library that you gave me yesterday? Yes.
Yes. Swarms. So you know ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me show you. So swarms is the first ever framework that allows you to have multiple LLMs like ChatGPT work with each other. So when you use ChatGPT, that's only one AI, which is basically useless. Why would you use one of them when you can have thousands of them? So we basically allow you to get them to communicate like a team. You can create your own team with agents. Yeah, so instead of having one AI, you can build your own team of AIs, and they can do anything.
But they will speak with one voice.
What was that?
They will speak with one voice, but operate in different functions.
Yes. So every AI can be specialized. For example, this can be GPT-4. This can be GPT-4 number 2. And you can specialize them so they do different things. So if you, what do you do right now? What are you building?
I don't build anything yet, but finance and development, marketing, development, real estate development.
We actually we did real estate development earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I'll show you some of the outputs. So this is our spreadsheet swarm, which outputs spreadsheets of all the agents. And so here we say this is an address for Lauderdale.
Is it fake address or
No, real address.
real address?
What would be the best use of this land and how do we maximize our investment? Our real estate developer lady came in here and this was actually our first use case. So here we say this is like, what can we do with this land? And then what do the AI say here? Okay, so here this is what the AI says.
That's all QC.
And so the AI says we could develop a mid to high-rise residential building with 150 to 200 units, offering a mix of studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedroom apartments.
I think the one is starting over.
Oh shit.
Was it not Zeynep?
Was that?
Zeynep was it here? Was it she?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, she wanted to get construction general contractors, and they gave us these contractors, these subcontractors, material suppliers.
So I'm pulling all of this.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Very like in a minute or how long?
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
So we have multiple agents here. So we have
Yes.
a construction vendor agent. This is the construction vendor, and then we have the real estate finance agent. And so it says maximizing investment, assemblage, and consolidation. Consolidating the 3 properties would create a larger, more contiguous site, increasing the development's potential and value. And then it gives you a bunch of other ways on how to maximize your investment.
So, what does it say about the finances? how much finances to?
Right there. Says total development cost 150 200 million. It's just like an expectation.
How do they communicate?
Um, how do they communicate? In here, they don't communicate.
Okay.
Well, you communicate with them. This is a parallel form. Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. I'm gonna talk to you later.
Yeah, who's out? Nice to see you. What's that?
That's it.
This is OpenAI, GPT-4. Actually, no, this is not GPT-4. This is Llama 3. Llama 3? Llama 3. This is an open source model. So this is just a simple like plan, basically. Yeah, if you want, I could show you. I could give you like more personalized demos if you go to my website. And actually, you should have a link in there where you can book a call with me. So if you go to the link, and there'll be a section schedule appointment. We can talk. We can have a much detailed.
And what's your business model? Do you build swarms and what is your business model?
Yeah. So we partner up with companies, so we help build their agents, and then we help essentially integrate their agents into their company. And yeah, so there is like an upfront cost to develop the agents and then deploy them. So that'll take like maybe like a month of like prompt engineering, agent engineering. And then after that, so there's like an initial upfront cost of building the agents, and then there's a cost of how much you actually use the agents. But that's not that much, unless you're running the agents 24/7.
Oh, great. Because I do have a startup where we have around 30 customers and we have the HRS, we have all the data to analyze. And I want to build the swarms to automate the data analysis and automate the processes that the platform does. So you can build that.
Yeah, totally awesome.
I'm going to look at all later.
Yeah.
And we are building another startup of green.
Oh yeah. Where is it?
We are building another startup that helps companies to be more green. So
Oh, cool.
we are trying to do something like that, but with another type of data. So we can talk about it. If there's not so many costs, we can manage that. Yes, because we are a startup, so we can afford big investments, but we have big customers, so it can be the start of something great.
Nowadays, how much companies spend to get AI developed?
What was that?
How much companies spend for AI?
Well, it depends. How much are you using in AI? I mean, it also depends how many AI are you using. In our case, it's many AIs, thousands, or like in some cases thousands. Running 1,000 models 24/7 would probably cost you like $100. I think. Yeah.
It's cheaper than people.
A little bit, yeah. So I'll show you now. So Anthropic pricing. So every model has different pricing. So they charge. So if you go to Anthropic API, so the pricing is based on how many millions of words that it sees. And so it's $3 for 1 million words input. So you give it 3 million words, that's $3. If it generates 1 million output words, that's $15. So the input is cheaper than the output because outputting the words when the model generates something is very computationally expensive. And so the pricing is based on how many words is coming in and how many words are going out of the model.
But you cannot control how many words will come.
You can.
You can?
You say how many words.
You say, okay.
The maximum now is 8,000. So if you say create a finance budget for this property, the most amount of words it can generate in one go is 8,000. So it would take you 8,000 divided by a million, basically. And that would be like a million words. And then you pay $15 for that. Super cheap.
And it also depends on the model, right?
Yeah.
If the model is like GPT for all mini, right? It's very cheap. It's not gonna have the same performance, but like mini specializes on coding, for example, right? It specializes on math. So if you wanna do math for really cheap, I mean, like these costs are not like they can be just dismissed. That's not much, right? For this value you pay, you get so much. So I think like the models that are coming out every day, they have the costs down and down and down and down. So in the future, we might have like a cent per million words. So
And all the information, that calculation is coming from Google or from where? What's it?
What do you mean?
Like financial calculation, like return on investment formulas, formulas that the AI calculates. How it's coming.
You can give you can copy you can give your own documents. If you had your own documents, you can give your documents.
Yeah, so I'm mostly
It could be anything.
on my research. I'm doing research at FIU. Like I'm researching.
That is basically
But I'm with him. Like I met him. and
Yeah.
I love AI.
I could
So he
I
showed
could
me
show you
stuff
more
I'm
if
like,
you book
wow,
a
I
company.
never
I can
worked
show you a lot
before.
more than I
And
can
he showed me
here.
like 6 months after. I'm like,
Just,
go through it.
Yeah, if you want, you can book immediately.
That's all you
If you go to my website,
So yeah, I just
you
come
just press
every
that.
time he presents, I just come to support it.
So I can show you much more.
I'm mostly on like the community side of Swarms.
What's that?
We have a server that's like
We started a company in March.
That's all the stuff on there. Like just some people are always sharing the scientific papers quick because the AI is very
Our office is in
Palo mountainside. So there are a lot of science enthusiasts that sit there and just group math every day.
Yeah, but I work on my
thing. So I'm more on like the community side, just speaking to people, and he's just like posting every day. That's it.
50-50.
How old am I?
if I wanna
18, 19. Yeah, just turned 19.
get
Well,
My
birthday is
my daughter. She's 16.
Well, actually, now that
She's
now that I'm here, I have a gift. This is for you. This is for you. This is for
Wow.
you. Yeah, so in about 10 days, I'll be 21.
October
21. Oh, your first drink.
Hell no.
Longer than tokens of dreams.
Yeah.
Before 21.
So I'm going to be throwing a pretty big party, and I'm going to create a swarm that DJs for me.
Wow.
So it'll take a video of all the people in front of it, and if nobody's dancing, it'll find the song, techno or reggaeton.
Really?
And like optimize for people dancing.
Wow.
And that'll be like the swarm.
Thank you. And what do you like for gift?
Agents. Or agents who builds. And I get bored very easy because we build everything pretty fast. So give me something to build and I'll be happy.
Okay, great. I'm going to give. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah.
I will go and I will give you a present
Thank you.
because you deserve it.
Yeah.
You're so smart.
I think it's emptying out.
Shit. All right. Yeah, you too. Book a call when you're available, and yeah.
Okay, kind. Thank you for everything.